So we will call the regular meeting of the Southold School Board of Education to order, and we'll start with the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Scott Lathan? Tom Kennedy?
Here.
Tom Grattan?
Here.
Dawn Hagerman? Christian Pryor?
Here.
In the event of an emergency, all visitors are advised that they may exit this room from the one side door which leads directly into the parking lot. In the event of an emergency, everyone is asked to move away from the building and do not attempt to leave in your automobile, since this may cause traffic problems and block incoming emergency vehicles.
Okay, thank you. So this is the first hearing of visitors, and the board will entertain comments and questions about agenda items only. So do we have any comments or questions? No? Okay. Move on to the consent agenda, and we're going to look to approve the following agenda items. It's going to be our minutes of our last meeting of July 22nd, 2026. Financial matters, do we need to individually?
No, you could just say...
Financial matters, and then also Committee on Special Education. I don't think we have any recommendations.
No, I think we do.
Oh, we do?
Yeah.
Okay. So we do have one, recommended the board by resolution prior. Okay, so...
They were attached in the...
Yes. Okay, so the board members should have received any for CSE or CPSE recommendations on the confidential roster. So we get a motion to approve those items on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved. All business.
So, at the last meeting, Scott had asked for attendance numbers. I shared them with everybody. I think I shared the last 3 years or 4 years, whatever was asked for. I didn't really see a marginal difference. I can tell you that attendance has been on a decline all over Long Island and all over New York State, comparatively. Hours over the last 3 or 4 years has not really changed, but it really seems since the pandemic, attendance has been of less importance to people because we've had more chronically absent students on Long Island than we used to have. But our numbers have not really changed drastically. If you guys had any questions or anything, it's only on the old business, just because I sent that to you and I hadn't heard anything, just in case anybody, if you have, I'm happy to try to answer it for you. If not, we're good.
Any questions? No? All right, thank you. Intermunicipal cooperation agreements. So,
You can read that.
okay, should we read it? All right. Be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby authorizes the superintendent of schools to execute an intermunicipal agreement with the Greenport School for a shared transition coordinator / special ed teacher with Greenport School District, assuming 40% of all costs associated with such position. Do you have any questions? No? Okay, we need a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Next, we'll move to the superintendent's report.
Let me grab, it's going to come up on the screen here. So our goals from last year, our first was academic goals. 75% of lessons observed will incorporate high-quality questions to promote critical thinking, engagement, and student ownership of learning as measured by class visits during the 25-26 school year. We did 93 class visits across our K-12 classrooms. We team up where 2 of us go so that we can always discuss exactly what we're seeing and make sure that it's consistent between the 2 of us. And the aggregate data, and I'll show you a bunch of data tables quickly after this, show that we slightly exceeded that goal of the 75%. Individual area percentages are on the following charts. I'll show you them. Other things that we saw, because we talked about this before, we saw the sustained use and unpacking of learning targets. We also saw evidence of engagement and in our instruction. So the data from the tables, you'll notice that certain tables, for instance, whether there was a learning target or whether there was not, and whether it was unpacked, is going to equal up to 100%. Some of the other targets will not equal 100% because you could have asked higher order and lower order thinking questions in the same lesson and we would have picked both, so it's going to be above 100% on some of those. So when you're looking at the charts later, a question where, you know, it could have been part activity, part independent work, gets marked as both, so therefore it's over that. The way this particular assessment software, it does it out of the 92 responses, and it does the percentage. So if I put 100 responses, you know, if I put 100 things in there, it would show as like 100 and something percent. So just so that you know. This was nice to see because we did this work 3 years ago. You know, our teachers are using it, and I think our kids are more aware of what they're learning. Our instructional practices, about 21% was lecture, 35% discussion, and then, you know, around 80% was activity. Again, you could have been part discussion, part activity, and that's why you know, that number equals over 100%. The important part about this is that, you know, this area, you know, is at a very appropriate number for a K-12 school. You know, kindergartners are not going to listen or learn from a lot of lecture. They're doing more discussion and activity. So, you know, these were good numbers. The types of responses asked, low inquiry and high inquiry. If you do research on this, you know, there were some that had low and high in the same lesson, so they were marked as both. And that's why, again, this number is probably 10% higher than it should be, 10% over 100. But, you know, when you're in, say, a kindergarten classroom, you're not going to have a tremendous amount of higher inquiry questions because they're learning the basic skills. And if they don't learn the building blocks, they can't answer the big questions. Even in a physics class, that holds true. If any of this was too low or too high, you know, but, you know, based on the research, it's pretty appropriate where these numbers are in a K-12 school system. You know, the questioning method, volunteer response, engagement, high engagement, you know, we would like to see, you know, we'd like to see more of the high engagement questioning and a little less volunteer response. At times it's difficult. You don't want to call on kids cold and they don't know the answer, so it is a balancing act. You know, the depth of knowledge questioning, again, typical for what the research would show. You know, those level 4 questions are the higher order, really, you know, putting together a lot of the pieces. We need to see some of them. You know, 15% would be, you know, a completely appropriate number, but 12.5 is very close to where you want to be. So the end of the year analysis was that learning targets are consistently used, and the unpacking of targets will advance student ownership over learning. Engaging instruction remains a strong area of focus. The method of questioning has shifted to be more primary focus rather than the level of questions utilized. So, you know, we're changing kind of the way we're looking at questions. Looking at the level of question was important, you know, but shifting, you know, shifting to why questions are asked, for what purpose and for what reason, and how does that make students think about things differently is you know, how we're moving to that now, because we feel that that's really a better gauge of our teachers' instruction and our student learning. So, you know, how the questions are asked absolutely helps support higher quality engagement of students. You know, if it's a question that can be answered very quickly and easily with just a recall, that does not engage students as much as when you ask them thought-provoking questions. Rigor of questions should continue as an area of focus. Expand instruction focus to include checking for understanding and differentiation. That is what we're going to work on this year. Our SEL goal, you know, sustained focus on student development, mostly through rethink. This year we added in our, you know, our Breathe for Change program. We had a teacher in the elementary school, did 200 hours of training for it. She does yoga and mental imaging and different stretching and breathing techniques with our sports teams. with our classes, with our teachers. She'll be doing an hour-long session with the elementary school and an hour-long session with the elementary school during conference day. Half of that session is to help teachers to learn techniques that will allow them to manage the stress and anxiety that comes along with life. And the other half will be to help them learn techniques that they can teach their students to utilize to help, deal with the anxiety of life. We see kids that are more and more anxious than we ever used to. So the programming implemented with Fidelity, the Rethink Ed, we had good feedback from our teachers on it verbally when we met about it. We're going to look to do surveys in the future with our kids and with our parents and with everybody going forward. Supplemental SEL program, Breathe for Change, is in place. They're both based on the Castle Learning, program. They both come from the same core principles, which are the ones that are adopted by New York State. So they work very well together, the Rethink Ed and the Breathe for Change program. The Rethink Ed is a little more teacher-friendly. The Breathe for Change, you need extensive training from them. So we are utilizing both. We happen to have a fantastic teacher that really enjoys doing it with our students, our student athletes, all of our groups, which helps us tremendously. And then, we've gotten positive feedback anecdotally from parents and from people in the community about it, and our kids. But, when we see the goals on the last slide, you'll see that we're trying to gather that information a little bit better. So, that was a successful finance goal. Budget vote exceeded 80.3%, so that was above the 75% we were looking at. We maintain a healthy bond rating, the AA2, which allows us to, take our loans. We get our tax dollars twice a year. The first time isn't until 3 or 4 months into the school year, so we take these short-term loans to pay expenses, and then we pay it back when we get your tax, paid. We get them twice a year or once a year.
Do we receive the taxes?
Yeah, once or twice.
I mean, scattered. It starts the early.
Yeah, so it doesn't start until we're 3 or 4 months into the school year. So you take these things that are called TANs, tax anticipation notes. Every district gets them. They're short-term, high-interest loans. Ours, we have offset a lot with utilizing reserve money rather than, money we have in the bank, the ones that we're allowed to, instead of taking larger TANs than we need to. Because, nobody gives you short-term money unless they give you a high interest rate. But our rate is as good as you're going to get because of our rating. We made minimal progress on the reserve fund one. This we talked about a little bit before. What we did is really identify which vehicles we can and can't use. And then hopefully this year we'll finalize that. So the finance goal was really effective. And then goal 4 is our facilities goal. So these particular projects right here were ones that were in progress the last time we met. The HVAC work is all done, and the boilers are fully complete. Believe it or not, until almost mid-year last year, they were still adding pieces that they were waiting. There were some pieces that really didn't fully impact the use of them, so we were using them, and they still came in and added some different pieces later on. But they are completely done now, and knock on wood, should not be a problem for many years to come. The playground is in. You see a picture of it over here. There was about 80 kids on it, maybe 3 or 4 hours ago with Diana, and it was really nice to see. It's going to be a great addition down there. The portable buildings we put on hold because really the cost to get rid of them and put in the new pole barns was just too high to do this year. So we're going to look to do that in future projects. The middle school roof, this is what it looks like right now because they came in and did some of the, what do you call it, pre-prep work.
Yeah.
All of their product is out there, and I believe tomorrow's the day they're coming.
Yeah.
The gyms, both of our gymnasiums, they took down everything and they fully painted them. And there's new padding from some of the work that had been done that is being fabricated right now that will go up. We put the old padding up just in case the new padding's not in before the start of the school year. But that's done. And then we did some classroom flooring. You can see here, this happens to be the room right next to my office. That was one of the ones that was done. Our gym floor, like I said, the gyms were painted, and we do get them sanded and sealed every year, which really allows us to maintain the quality of our gym floors if you let them go too long. Here's another picture of the playground. Other things that were not on our list, our parking lots were all sealed. Every other year, we seal them and paint them. We have a company come in, they seal all the cracks and they paint them. Again, it's basically the same thing I do with my driveway, because if you do it every other year, your parking lot will last you a lot longer than if you leave those cracks there and they fill up with water and then freeze in the winter. And then the LED lighting, pretty much the entire elementary school has been changed over, all by our guys. All of the lighting that we bought for that building was discounted. It was, there was a grant that went along with it that paid for about 75% of the cost of the lighting. So each of these lights are more energy efficient. They will last longer, the bulbs in them, and they cost us about 20-25% of the price of what they would have, because our guys did all the maintenance on it. So kudos to Anthony and his crew. This will be the first year since I've been here that we don't have a major outstanding project to start the school year. The first was we couldn't get material or equipment because of the pandemic. The second was whatever was going on in this world, they couldn't get the things in to do the jobs, and we waited 9 months for boiler parts, and we waited over a year for HVAC parts. This is the first year where there are some minor little projects that we'll be finalizing, but once the roof is done out there, which is supposed to be the end of the week, every major project that was slated to happen over the summer happened over the summer. So it'll be nice to start the year without having to move people around and things like that. So any questions on last year's goals? We didn't fully achieve every goal that we would have liked to, but I think we achieved most of them and most parts of them, and I think we made some really nice progress in all the other areas. And it either led us to putting together a goal for this year that is just as tangible and good for the Southold community, or reevaluating some of them were too easy. We might not look to even do them. So if you have any questions about last year's goals, and then if not, these are this year's goals. I'm going to ask Patty if we can jump to the adoption of goals,
Sure.
which is on the next page. Just because I have it up here in this presentation, it is what?
Number 11.
Number 11. Again, we have an academic goal, a social emotional learning goal, a fiscal goal, a facilities goal, all measurable, and the measurements are in there for them. Our academic, we will utilize observations, both formal and informal, to gauge that. Our social and emotional, we are putting together a survey that we are going to utilize with our different constituent groups. And we're talking about, we looked at it today, we're linking all of the values to the Southold Portrait of a Graduate, which also are very much in line with the Castle frameworks. The fiscal is there again. We're trying to get a little bit further and really probably set up that capital reserve, which we can do prior to our bond debt falling off. And then the facilities one we went over. If you have any questions about those, be happy to answer them now, or comments, and then we'll ask you to adopt, right?
Thank you, Dr. Moore, and thank you everybody who worked on putting those goals together for the upcoming year. If there's no questions, can we get a motion to adopt the district goals for the 26-27 year?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes. Okay. Excellent.
Thank you. Thank you guys for the work.
Opening school, do you have any additional comments, or?
The guys are, we're pretty much ready.
Okay.
As I said, we're not gonna, we have some tiny projects, but really everything looks fantastic.
Did a beautiful job. Everything looks awesome.
Great.
Great job. It's exciting to see the playground, like you said, that's awesome, and then just the energy coming back into the building with the school buses, so it's great to see everybody back. So on to personnel. We have employees entering the district, full-time temporary. Catherine Conti is a special education leave replacement effective September 1, 2026 through October 9, 2026. The salary is at the rate of $286.11, step 1A on the SFA salary schedule, no benefits. We do them all?
You do them all in one.
Okay.
and then-
All right, and then employees entering the district service, full-time permanent, Diane Mistroli, it's a teacher assistant, 3-year probationary appointment effective September 1, 2026 through September 1, 2029. Salary and benefits per the CSEA contract. All right, then we also have employees entering the district on a part-time temporary basis for coaching. We have 3 coaches. For girls junior high soccer, it's Elliot Ramirez. Junior high cross-country, Crystal Dewey, and varsity cross-country, Dan McGonigal. Then we have high school advisors for the high school council, it's Bedbridge and Galano. Substitute teachers, Kelly Hillary, Elliot Ramirez, Brendan Duffy, and substitute teacher aides, we have Andrea Glasser and Lorraine Henry. So I think those are all our personnel moves. So can we get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, next up is the district-wide safety plan. Dr. Morrow?
Yep, so our district-wide safety plan, the safety team will be meeting in September, as we do every year. We are obligated to put it on a board agenda at this time of year, so the extent of the update is that we'll be meeting. There are a couple of statutory pieces we have to put on there, like the cardiac response program. The cardiac response plans that you have to put on, we are fully compliant with already. We just have to editorialize it, so they consist of having AEDs available, having people that are trained on the AEDs available. We comply with all pieces of it, so there's nothing new for us to do. We just have to editorialize it, and we'll do that when we come together with the meeting, with the group in September, and then we'll post the plan, and then we'll have the reading period, and then we'll adopt it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll go to the committees. Finance Committee,
Nothing.
Building Committee.
The only thing I have, can I get an update on the lighting coming into the fall sports?
The PO is cut, the rental company has it, it's scheduled, the lights are scheduled to be delivered to the school on October 1st, which is a Thursday. And the homecoming, I believe, is the Friday the 2nd, right? So on the Thursday night, we'll be here setting them up and trying to arrange them.
So gets coverage.
Okay, we'll be if there was a game being played, so we don't have to mess around too much on Friday night.
Right, right.
So,
All right, good.
Yeah, so we decided, Steve actually came up with it. Since we were getting the lights, he asked if we can push back homecoming and do it on a Friday night under the lights. And then, Diana is doing a number of different activities with the elementary school kids and the PTA, and I'm sure that Terrence will be with the high school kids also, pep rally and the whole
Awesome.
deal. Yeah. So they're gonna serve a number of purposes that will hopefully benefit our community.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Excellent. Policy Committee.
Nothing.
Any new business? No. Second hearing of visitors. Board will entertain comments and questions about agenda items and other school matters in general. Does not look like we have any. Board member commentary. So we can start, Tom?
Summer's over. Good luck. School's gonna be here in 12 days, 13 days, something like that. Good luck, and like I said, everything looks beautiful.
Summer's not over. We got a little bit more to go. So enjoy the rest before school starts. All 3 of my kids are very excited to start school, and the school looks great. Nice job with everything, the playground, the facilities. It looks great.
All right, yeah, again, everyone, thank you for the hard work on the goals, the work all summer long. It's great seeing everybody back into the, back into the building and look forward to opening day. So, next board meeting is going to be September 23rd, 2026. It'll be a regular meeting, and I think that's it. So I'd like to get a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you.